$850,000 app. Next, why the city of Austin wants to spend your tax money to make it easier to report potholes and graffiti. Plus, Central Texas bird invasion, where we found all these birds making a mess, and extreme eating. Wait until you hear how many calories that restaurant meal is packing. But first, a story you'll only see on KITV. An apartment full of roaches, the tenant blind and disabled and unaware the bugs were even in there. A viewer like you tipped us off to this story. The woman was living in an apartment run by public housing just off North Loop in North Austin. Tonight, KITV's Karen Kiley tracked down the answers to find out how this woman could be living in these conditions.
Walking into Terry Reyes' apartment,
come on in, sweetie.
The problem is immediately obvious.
My skin is, I feel like I'm not clean.
Crawling on kitchen counters, in the cabinets, and under the coffee table is a room full of roaches.
I saw some crawling over there and I was like, I'm done, I'm out of here. I can't do this no more, I can't.
Reyes' sister, Sandra Williams,
but they were crawling over here on that,
can barely stand to be in the apartment.
Ugh. I want to go take a shower.
But Reyes herself was living here unaware of the problem because she's blind.
I don't want to disbelieve it. I'm a trustworthy type of person.
Reyes does have a caretaker through Girlings Healthcare who helps with basic household chores like cleaning.
3.5 hours a day, yes.
Cleaning.
And keeping up with my laundry and cooking. But the main thing would be cleaning.
Girling says the caretaker reported the roach problem, so we asked property management why it hadn't been taken care of. And we were told it's because the kitchen was never clean enough to treat.
The property manager actually personally met with her and her caregiver and told her what needed to be done. Cleaning the stove, behind the stove as much as possible, in the refrigerator. At each retreatment, they were never prepared.
In a statement to KITV, Girlings disputes that and says the apartment was prepared. But they've now agreed to bring in a cleaning service to be sure the entire apartment is thoroughly cleaned.
This is not going to help us.
And until that happens, Reyes will be staying with her sister, roach-free.
Now, Girlings also says the 2 employees who were taking care of Reyes have been suspended pending an internal investigation. Judy?
So, Karen, were there any other complaints against this situation?
Well, we haven't heard of any other complaints against Girling Healthcare. We haven't heard of anything, but in the apartment complex itself, the Housing Authority tells us this is an isolated incident, that there are no other roaches in the rest of the building.
I know you'll continue to follow the story. Thank you, Karen. Now, this story came to us through a news tip. If you have a story you want us to check out, or if you see breaking news happening, email us at news@kitv.com. You can also search for KITV on Facebook and on Twitter. For the first time, Austin area businesses are starting to see and feel the impact of Austin Energy's rate hike passed by the City Council over the summer. Austin Energy tacked on a 7% rate hike for homeowners, but for some business owners, it's much larger, 18% or more. This is the first increase in almost 2 decades, and for some people, it's coming as quite a shock. One small business owner says his bill has doubled, but there are things you can do if you're seeing a drastic rise in your bill. Again, here's KITV's Karen Kiley.
It's a flat tire Austin Bikes didn't see coming.
As soon as I saw it, it was clear to me that it would change the way we do business.
Saul Frost opened his electric bill this month to find it had gone from $250 to nearly $500.
I assumed it was just a sort of a glitch in the bill, just because it was literally twice as high as it was the month before.
Not a glitch, the new reality, thanks to the rate increase passed by City Council this summer.
Unless something changes, we're going to have to cut back substantially in other areas.
Small businesses, churches, and nonprofits will likely feel the rate increase most of all because of a new demand fee that basically ensures Austin Energy has the maximum amount of energy they use available at all times.
Employees here say they might have to start pedaling to generate some extra energy if their bills stay this high. Luckily, Austin Energy says there's a less exhausting solution.
One of the easiest things that they can do is change out inefficient lights.
Austin Energy does have programs and rebates available to help businesses make energy efficient upgrades. They'll also come out for free and assess your usage.
I'd be, very excited about getting an energy audit.
Frost says he's open to any options that lower his bill. Karen Kiley, KITV News.
Now, for more than about 85% of residential customers, Austin Energy says your bill will only go up on average by about $3 in the non-summer months. We did some digging and uncovered city officials are finding new ways to spend some of the extra money from those higher Austin energy rates. In tonight's Waste Watch investigation, KITV's Christy Post shows us a mobile 311 app City Council will be voting on tomorrow, and it could cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, Judy, this is the proposed app. The home screen would look like this. To make a request, you'd hit new request to report things like graffiti or potholes. Now, the total cost for this entire app would be more than $850,000 with a yearly fee of $25,000. Now, after doing some checking, if City Council passes this tomorrow, the revenue to pay for this would be coming out of your bills from Austin Energy. With an $8.5 million budget, the City of Austin 311 call center employs 80 people working around the clock. Every year, 200,000 service requests come in via phone and email.
I think there's just a general sense that is growing in the community about, well, if I could do it on my smartphone, I could avoid having to call you.
311 manager Joe Calabrese says they have been working on a mobile avenue for a year.
This one seems to be the most efficient and gives us the most value.
That value, an almost $1 million addition to their existing contract with Motorola. But city officials defend the high cost, saying it's not just to develop the app, rather channel 16 departments to receive the mobile requests, along with licensing, security, and maintenance. When we tried to get a hold of the contract to break down the pricing, the city was unable to provide it. We've learned the city of Cedar Park has developed a similar app. However, it cost them $2,000 to develop it, attached with a $6,000 yearly fee. So we brought this up with expert Q Manning, the CEO of Rocksaw Studios, who has developed nearly 100 apps. And he tells us the cost all depends if the app is a template or created from scratch.
Generally, apps cost between $25,000 on the low end. If you're lucky, you can get them for a little bit cheaper than that, to about $150 to millions of dollars, depending on all the features that are needed.
The city is justifying spending taxpayer dollars, saying it would create more efficiency and eventually reduce the number of employees here at 311. Christy Post, KITV News.
If the City Council passes this proposal tomorrow, the application would be available as soon as June on the iPhone and Android. Will continue to follow this story. We are shooting straight tonight on the continuing conversation about gun control so that you can sort out all the information. Texas could soon have more gun-owning residents if State Attorney General Greg Abbott has his way. He launched an internet campaign targeting New York websites a day after that state passed tough gun control measures. The ads link to this Facebook page, which reads, "Keep your guns, move to Texas." Abbott is a potential candidate for governor in 2016. He used his own campaign funds to pay for these ads. President Obama's latest proposals to curb gun violence are still fresh from the oven, but the reaction from all sides continues to be swift and loud tonight. Among the sweeping actions he offered today, encouraging states to better share information with the national background check system, ensure young people get needed mental health treatment, and launch a national campaign to encourage responsible gun ownership. Another proposal is drawing comparisons to one offered by a staunch political opponent, the National Rifle Association. The president suggested incentives to help local communities hire more officers to safeguard schools. It prompted cries of hypocrisy after the NRA said its proposal to hire armed guards at every school was met with ridicule. The president, however, suggested specially trained officers, while the NRA wants to arm volunteers and teachers as well.
If there were grant money available to offer the district an opportunity to have more officers, and it didn't have a budget impact on the school district, it's definitely worth looking at.
The nation's two main teachers' unions, representing about 4.5 million educators and school officials, support President Obama's initiatives regarding school safety. The president also made several suggestions for congressional action, including the resurrection of the assault gun ban. Experts say there are up to 4 million rifles owned by Americans across the country. The vast majority are used by well-meaning hobbyists, but they play deadly roles in recent mass shootings. The threat of a ban has actually boosted sales nationwide, but in states like Maryland, where legislatures are considering even stricter laws, the president's plan was met with approval.
I think the president's been very effective and courageous and challenging all of us to do more to prevent the sort of carnage that we've seen in places like Newtown and Colorado and other places.
Gun rights advocates say an assault rifle ban is unconstitutional. Our own Governor Perry had this to say earlier today. The Second Amendment to the Constitution is a basic right of free people and cannot be, nor will it be abridged by the executive power of this or any other president. Now, the Second Amendment to the Constitution is short, but it has certainly had a large legacy. It reads simply, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. You may join the conversation. Head to facebook.com/KITV to tell us your interpretation of those 27 words. Traffic congestion relief, but at what price? Coming up next, the dozens of trees that have to be ripped out to fix a road. We ask the tough questions to find out what happens to them. Plus, bird invasion, where our flying friends are taking over parking lots in Central Texas and Round Rock. Also ahead, protection against fraud, a warning, what you need to know when someone claims to get you out of debt. And banned from calling 911, why this granny can't call police, paramedics, or a fire department if there's an emergency.
Plus another chilly night, but we are looking at warmer temperatures. I'll show you that on your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.